Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to our weekly little breathing session. So I'll be flying solo today, and just some notes for this coming week. Tomorrow, Wednesday evening, starting at 7:30, I'll do the midweek reset with sound healing, some light breathing, and just a light reminder. It's just meant to focus on feeling good and just re-energizing ourselves so that we are maybe coming from that place of beauty a little bit more. Friday with the integrative recovery, we'll be back on. With that, starting this Friday, Sarah will be coming in and doing her practice with us. And so just kind of like social gathering, probably 7 to 7:45, and then she'll be on until about 9. I'm not too sure who's DJing on Saturday, but someone will be here to spin that vinyl and keep that vibe going with some beautiful music. So come on down. We have a lot of stuff happening this week. So, yeah. I'm going to be moving the camera around a little bit. I'll be doing some of the sound healing a little bit today, and I don't have the mic, so I might be moving the iPad here so it's a little bit closer so that it's picking up the sound a little bit for everyone out there. Yeah. So I'm just going to invite everyone to just kind of settle in, kind of maybe wiggle if you're sitting, maybe move the shoulders, move the head, move the hips in the chair, or if you want to stand up and do this, maybe moving the feet around a circular formation or back and forth, maybe even light tapping, just kind of waking up the body, maybe even just letting everything go, just kind of shifting around anything that may feel a little heavy, or maybe stuff that's not really feeling like it should be a part of us. And just sometimes movement, and then just settling into your seat. And just an invitation here to just tap into your breath. Feel into the breath and how you're breathing. Just naturally breathing. And giving permission to self to maybe just track the breath. Feel it with inside your system. And how does it feel as it's traveling through the system? Like, can you explore maybe identifying how it's feeling in the system? Maybe it's bringing like a calmness, a soothing sensations within the body. And so when we're doing this, like, we can really take the thinking mind and bring it to that awareness, or tuning in to the sensations within the body as we follow the breath and really discover or fall into how the breath is affecting our body. how is our system feeling? We can also direct the attention with the mind of the breath to specific areas. Like for a moment, I'll just invite you to bring all of your attention to your fingertips as you breathe. Maybe let's just nose breathe for a moment. And as you're conscious and aware of your breathing pattern through the nose, we're also tuning into, at the same time, just our fingertips. And maybe as you're keeping that attention on the fingertips, maybe we might feel a little some tingles. Maybe we feel like they're maybe a little bit more alive, energetic than the rest of the hand. We can shift our attention as well to the whole hand and kind of breathing in the energy with our breath through the nose. Maybe if there's any pain or tension, we can breathe that into the system. And when we exhale, maybe really feeling the energy like leaving the body or just spreading more throughout our system. Now we can take our attention just right back to the breath, into the body as a whole. And so when we do this, it's giving our mind, which may not have the ability to be quiet yet, but it brings in a focus for the mind to attune it into our system instead of something outside of us, or just bringing up life events. But when we can kind of focus it on self, I feel for myself that it really heightens the experience and it allows for me to shift energies around, kind of check in. If something's coming up and it's not sitting well with me, this is where I talk about that, being a witness to a thought and be like, yeah, I hear you, and then feeling into that. And so before today, a little while ago, I pulled a card and ended up 2 cards came out. And so this kind of ties in with it right now. And so what I pulled, this is like from an angel deck that I have. Um, and the first card that I pulled, or that fell, was this, oops, I don't know where the camera is. It's this one here. It's just self-acceptance. And maybe just breathe that in for a moment for yourself. What is self-acceptance for you? Just tuning into that nice, relaxed nose breath. Sometimes with self-acceptance, we may be kind of hard on ourselves. We may have these like type of cues for ourselves that have really been, maybe they didn't come from ourselves. Maybe it was conditioning through our schooling, through our parents, through our friends, through society, through advertising, through, there's so many ways that condition us ourselves, and then it may play a role in how we think about ourselves and the pressure that maybe we put on ourselves for success or for speaking correctly or for being a good parent or whatever it is, right? And if we're not living up to those standards, if we don't feel as if we're living up to those standards, how does that feel in your system? Maybe breathe that in just for a moment. And as you breathe that in, like, what might the mind do here? Like, I don't feel like, I'm living up to this standard. I'm not doing the job fast enough, good enough. Am I appeasing my boss, my wife or husband? And so what comes to mind for myself is this voice of self-sabotage, where maybe I begin to use more negative type terms or words. And so what I'm going to invite in here for a moment is to bring in the breath of inhaling through the nose, exhaling longer on the exhale. And just for self for a moment, is there anything current for you maybe where possibly you put a little bit too much pressure on self? And if so, how do we usually address that within our mind? What kind of self-talk are we giving it? And maybe now letting that go, because like now just kind of let the thoughts go and just tap into the body. And where is that in the body like that? Where maybe we're not too kind or we put too high of a standard or something that may not be our truth. Like, where does that sit for you? And we can attune into the body and see where the discomfort is, kind of like with the hands. And then breathing into that again. And then kind of pushing that heaviness, the knot, just kind of dispersing it out away from the body or spreading it through the system so that it's not contained in one small area. And just maybe allowing for that out breath to be whatever it needs to be. Maybe it needs to be a little bit more assertive, a little bit louder. Maybe a sound needs to come out. Maybe it needs to be a heavier out breath. And then I invite you to just kind of let everything go, tune back into the breath. And can we maybe explore how it might feel to be more gentle with ourselves? Maybe being a little bit more kind to our system. And so when this pressure gets built up, there's something I enjoy bringing into play here. And is it a yes or a no for me? And so a yes meaning like it's my truth. Like it really feels like this is my truth, my who I am. And that's actually bringing up the second card that I pulled, which goes along with this so beautifully, just truth and integrity. So I'm going to kind of glide into this card. The no being, it's not feeling like it's really me. And so if I'm breathing into something of a situation that's coming up, maybe it's this pressure that I'm putting on myself. It's very possible that it is my truth, and it might be exactly who I am, and it's in alignment with my higher self. But it's also possible at the same time that maybe I'm just pushing it a little bit too fast or too high, because it's maybe not exactly where I'm at right now. And so when we bring in that awareness that, oh, I can acknowledge this and be like, okay, here's where I'm at now, and my outcome, I would like it to be over here, but maybe I'm living in the outcome a little bit before it's embodied within the system. And so just stepping back and accepting for where I am now, maybe even accepting or being open to the process of energetically coming to a space or a place with self. If it's a no, it's just not feeling like this is me, it's not feeling right in the body, then what is our truth? And we can open this doorway, if we choose to, of exploration. Of, well, what is my truth? Maybe this is something that was taught to me by someone else who was caring and loving and really just trying to help me. But maybe it's just not really who I am now. Maybe it was exactly who I was when it was taught to me. But as we shift and as we grow and as we change, as our vibration changes, whatever work we may be doing for self, we may grow out of that no different than a child growing out of their clothes. And as adults, we grow out of friends as well, too. And we shift and change them as we shift and change. And so I really like this, how these two came out today. The self-acceptance and 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 like our truth. I can't say enough about how changing the conversation within my own mind has been so helpful in just tuning into more love, more compassion, maybe a little bit more gentleness, kind of opening up and looking at stuff, stepping back as that witness of stuff that's arising, maybe with the pressure, especially with the holidays right now, family time, we may put different types of pressure on us that we don't have throughout the year. And so we can check in and be like, well, is this a yes or a no? Tapping into the breath and feeling into the body like, is this a yes or a no? So I can breathe in the situation. And maybe I immediately feel like this heaviness, like my heart starts to beat fast, or maybe it feels like someone's sitting on my chest, like an elephant is there, or maybe I close in a little bit more and my body kind of tightens up or tenses up. And these might be signs from within our system saying, yeah, this is a no. For a yes, maybe I feel more expansive. Maybe as I tune into the breath, maybe I just get this deep, relaxed feeling within my system. Maybe it just feels really good. And so this might be signs of like a yes, the shoulders are dropping. Maybe I'm having some slight movement of agreement, maybe nodding when I feel into it. Because this is part of the beauty. We don't have to do stuff like still. Just allow for the body to respond when we tune in and just let it do what it needs to do. Because it's all signs of, is this a yes or is this a no for me? And so this is a way to just help with self-discovery. And just attuning more into, and we can use the yes and no for anything. It doesn't have to just be, around that self-acceptance or is this my truth? It could also just be maybe I'll just take a family situation and maybe, we have family over for an extended period of time. And when we do have that, like, it doesn't mean that we have to always participate in everything too. We can permission ourselves to, oh, they're doing this, and I can breathe, and maybe there's just like, ooh, that's not feeling right. And, if you're doing like all these different things with the family, and all of a sudden this one event, one thing, one gathering, whatever it is, just is not feeling right in the system. And we can permission ourselves to excuse ourselves, because it's not like we're still not doing stuff that does feel good with the family. But maybe with this, maybe there's some triggers arising, and we can just politely, gently be like, I'm just going to take a little break or go for a run or take the dog out, or, you guys have a beautiful time, and I'll catch up with you for dinner. And because we can permission ourselves to go with what's feeling correct as we shift. So there is that for today. Yeah. Why don't we shift into some sound? So I'm just going to invite everyone to I'm going to invite everyone, if you wish, to, I'm just going to play sound for a few minutes. And my invitation to you is to maybe let's bring some balance into the mind. And so one way that we can do this is to, I'm going to invite in that you breathe, inhale and exhale through the right nostril 11 times. Inhale and exhale through the left nostril 11 times. And then the third one is going to be to inhale through the right, exhale through the left, inhale through the left, exhale through the right, and that'll be a cycle for 1. And again, we'll stick with that number 11 today. So it's in and out through the right only for 11, in and out only through the left for 11, and then breathing in through the right, out through the left, in through the left, out through the right for 11. And in between, after you finish the right side, I just invite you to take a moment and breathe in how that made you feel for a few breaths. After you finish the left side, before you do both together, again, just take a moment to pause. And then do the last one, and then settling into that space. I'm going to move the camera a little bit here. So maybe just find a comfortable position for yourself before you begin. Kind of tip it down towards the instruments. I'm just going to be moving around playing these a little bit. And so I invite everyone at this time to take a nice big inhale and let out a good exhale. And yeah. And then on the sound, I will invite you to start breathing in and out through the right, and then doing this on your own. And just enjoy the sounds and the vibrations as you're doing this work. just wherever you're at with the process, just maybe even just tuning into the breath if you're done. Definitely invite you to come down on Wednesday nights because like you probably can't hear it, but it's just still going at this really beautiful, soft. And maybe just allowing for the system just to relax. How did this have an effect within the mind when you did this breath piece? Finding this ability to support ourselves a little bit deeper, to maybe hold ourselves, to maybe find the gentleness that we can offer to self, not only to others, but to our system. Maybe just for a moment here, just kind of enjoying a moment of silence. Can I maybe see that I can be comfortable in silence and quietness? Can I see that I can find comfort in stillness and quietness? Feel into that. We live surrounded for the most part by so much chaos with a busy lifestyle of being near a city and congested areas. So much stuff taking our attention away. Or maybe holding our attention captive. Maybe permissioning self to find stillness and quietness. You know, I don't know, what was just coming to me is how I needed to put so much effort into being seen, being loud, doing things in such a way that made me stood out so that others would accept me. And so, pulling that self-acceptance card today, it's really when I can come from a place within myself where I can accept what is my truth. I don't have to worry about trying to get other people to accept me, because I just start naturally attracting people into my life where we're vibrating maybe more in alignment. Maybe we're seeking something different. And so there's a more healthy relationship with the people who surround me now. And I'm not worried about what they think, or putting pressure on myself to do this thing or that thing. And just really tapping into the body and how it's feeling, how the emotions that are arising, how is it making my system feel? Is this a yes or a no? For myself, I feel like this pathway, this road out of my darkness, we do so many things to try and be healthy, right? So it's like, maybe I'm re-looking at food. Maybe I'm reading more books about this thing. Maybe I'm listening to more podcasts that are about this. So I'm learning, I'm trying to eat right, I'm trying to exercise, bring more movement in. Maybe I'm trying to speak differently to loved ones, to self, to friends. And all that stuff is really beautiful for me. But the one doorway that I feel like we can never miss out on is that emotional aspect of how we're feeling and tapping into the emotions within the system. And that process has by far been the most difficult, because I didn't know how to feel pretty much my whole life until I slowly started on this journey. So my invitation to you as you go on through this week is to maybe check in with how you're speaking within your mind to self. What kind of words are we using? So I maybe find some new words that may be a little bit more loving or compassionate, or just rewording stuff so it doesn't have a negative vibration attached to it. Or if I am speaking out loud, like now, what's my tone? What's the texture of my voice? What vibration is the sound of my voice giving off? To bring a smile into your system, to pat yourself on the back for even just listening to this and considering, like, maybe there's something here for me, maybe not. But sometimes it's having and discovering and trying something a little bit different or something new deserves a pat on the back, because it just shows the willingness to discover something for self that may help us within our days, within our moments. So just a gentle reminder, you're welcome to pop down here tomorrow evening. Also, what I did forget is that Anna will be on at 1 tomorrow with her yoga. Yep. And I wish everyone a beautiful day. Check in, accept we are all beautiful people. We are all exactly where we're supposed to be right now. Can we just see that and feel into it? And may you just breathe into your heart for this last moment, and maybe come from the space, the spaciousness, I can't get that word out, of the heart. Yeah, enjoy, and we'll see you all next week.